Welcome, folks. Welcome back to part 2 of Let's Play Donkey Kong 3. So in this particular episode, there's going to be a noob death in this. And what I mean by that is we beat the game by dying at the same time. So it's kind of an interesting affair, just because you can't really do that in the original Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr. So it's just kind of an odd situation as to how that kind of went. But yeah, I definitely encourage getting like the bug spray power up, because it'll help you beat these stages a lot quicker. Donkey Kong really gets mangled by it, so it's a pretty good thing to kind of have happen for quickness. But I think this is actually the part where that kind of happens, the noob death kind of happens. And of course you want to be standing directly beneath like the killer bee or whatever it is to not get hit by the shrapnel and that sort of thing. But yeah, I just would have to say, and of course you do have to consistently, like, I don't know if I said this last time, but you do have to keep consistently spraying Donkey Kong, because you can die by Donkey Kong also. So it's just a lot of things to kind of have to mind and that sort of stuff, just as far as paying attention to it. But this kind of winds up being the thing. But yeah, this is definitely a good snackage game. I feel like this is just kind of like a good intro game to kind of have this kind of in the infomercial after hours, or like the AM, something like that. This, you know, this is definitely, these videos are definitely better than like this electronic toothbrush commercials and things like that. So if you're just bored and you're just tired of like after hours television, definitely recommend some of these. You know, fuck with like the Donkey Kong playthrough I did back in the day, and then like Popeye's a really good one, but this would kind of be the concept as far as that's kind of concerned. Yeah, just go out and get some Burger King if it's still open. This would have to say, I don't know. I mean, I think at least in like the west coast of the United States, like California or some of those type places, they probably have 24-hour Burger Kings and things like that, KFC, some of those type things. This would kind of be the thing. Really have to look after it, but I don't know, this is such a simplistic game. There's just so minimal information about it. That's this kind of thing. And oh yeah, the worms are indestructible. I kept thinking that I could destroy them, but they're just supposed to be barriers to kind of make things more difficult and stuff. But yeah, I forgot. I think I was talking about. So yeah, this is the noob kill there that just kind of happened. Right, Stanley died, but he still beat the game. So now you just get to see it. And like, this is the only real new facet about what kind of goes on here. Is just the leaves turn to red. I think really. I mean, I did see this on World of Long Plays or something like that. It's just the same stages. This is the only real difference about it. But yeah, this is just such a basic kind of game as far as that kind of goes. I just look at it, it's just minimal information about it, and it just doesn't, like, I mean, even today, it's probably just like only like a 2-paragraph kind of game. That's about the extent of it. I really don't know if the creator of Mario even had anything to do with this one, this kind of as far as that kind of went, but yeah, definitely get that bug spray power up. The more you spray Donkey Kong, the more he gets ready to knock it down and stuff. This really kind of happens to be the thing. Let's make the first 2 stages rather easy, this would have to say, but that's kind of the situation about it. So, yeah, this is just kind of an in-betweener towards my next game. I have to finish up Super Mario World, which is going to kind of happen soon enough. I kind of took like a good 7-8 month break from that particular game, but it's just because I didn't want to lose the save file. The thing about Super Nintendo games nowadays is the batteries that are in those games that allowed you to have your save files, it just feels like they're starting to get depleted. I mean, seeing as the Super Nintendo is nowadays over 30 years, it's not like it was back in like the 2000s or the 2010s when it had only been a few years. I mean, I definitely would suppose that based upon the NES, the old Nintendo games would probably have that same sort of affair with those batteries. Like Zelda, when you think of Zelda for the NES, that battery has since kind of been depleted, but you know, I just think I've had like Donkey Kong Country has gotten depleted, and there's been other ones that have kind of happened just within that sense. It's about that time. I wonder how long it's going to take for Nintendo 64 game batteries to deplete. It's kind of the thing. I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, concerning that they probably had better technology by that point, but it might be sooner than maybe what folks might think. But that's kind of the thing about it. But so yeah, the next station, I do have like another game that I might do as like a backup, kind of just kind of like additional kind of subsequent game to kind of have like a pet project, I guess you could say, just as far as that kind of goes, just in paying attention to like something else that's going to accompany Super Mario World. I just would have to say that would be kind of the situation. But this is just kind of like an appetizer. I've definitely seen this particular project as like an appetizer and stuff. It's kind of an in-betweener, but I'm just kind of running out of games like that. I mean, I like certain arcade games, but there's just not a ton of them. This would have to really kind of say and stuff that there's not a ton of like really full-blown ones, and I would really love to do Duck Hunt. I mean, if Duck Hunt was able to be played on like plasma TVs, I would have no problem with kind of making it happen. See, Donkey Kong's all ready to fall right here. I gotta really get to him, not paying attention to him right now. Yep, this should have minded him a little bit better, but yeah, I just have to say, I'd love to do Duck Hunt. That's a classic, and I'm almost tempted. I do own Mario Brothers, but the Nintendo I own is just kind of, it's janky as far as that kind of goes and such. I just would have to say, but yeah. So yeah, I could probably get far enough in Mario Bros. I could probably get to like maybe stage 5, stage 6, or 8, 10, something like that, decently enough. It'd be great to play it with Cobalt, something like that, but you know, this is kind of, the game is just, well, just kind of tricky to set up, kind of thing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, retro games in general are just getting tougher to kind of really administer as far as that's kind of concerned. I just feel like for the most part, I don't know how viable like the Nintendo Switch marketplace actively happens to be, but it just makes it a lot more tricky to get some of these games set forth and in motion and stuff. I mean, really, I think Nintendo nowadays just wants you to concentrate on today's games, like buy the new Switch games and occasionally, I mean, obviously games like Super Mario Bros. Or Legend of Zelda are fun, are standard fare, but some of these other ones like Duck Hunt or like Excite Bike or something like that are just a little bit more tricky. But yeah, that should about wrap things up, folks. This is going to kind of end abruptly, but hopefully you had some good fun with this. Have a nice appetizer. Subscribe for more fun. Thanks for watching, and of course have a wonderful night here. So enjoy the after hours, folks.